Hello, Evan.
Francisco.
Nice to be here with you. I want to start saying one thing that you just told right now, that you are one of the runners of the podcast Blast Report,
Yep.
and you are not nervous when you are doing the podcast, and you are nervous now because you are talking about yourself, and
Yeah.
this says a lot about you. Uh, you since I met you, I saw that you are a very humble guy. You are a guy that always tried to help others, and right now we are trying to help to show the world what you do
Thank
and
you.
what you've
Appreciate
been
that.
developing, and I really like you, and you are a good friend.
Well, the podcast also doesn't have my face, so I'm not so embarrassed, a little. But yeah, so thank you for having me, and I really appreciate you asking me to do something like this and be a part of World Blasting Innovators.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
Now, and to everybody knows you, but to make sure everybody knows really Evan, I wanted to start asking you, who is Evan Thibaud? Who is Pneu Wave, or what is Pneu Wave? And yeah, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, and yeah.
Well, Evan Thibaud is my name, and I'm like an avid adventurer and traveler. I love to try new things, adrenaline, skiing, scuba diving. I love to observe the unbelievable things of this world, and and ever since I was a kid, I like to blow stuff up. So um, that has fostered me into a career in the explosive society, and I've really enjoyed it. And once I guess once I finished my master's degree in explosives engineering, uh, there was a class. I was already in the industry for many years, product manager, been to Alaska and these places. But what was interesting is I took a class on special topics of explosives. And we learned about metal etching and avalanche control and things like that. And right after that, a client, major automotive company, asked if I could simulate a tire rupture, a high pressure tire deflation at highway speeds, 60 miles an hour. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. So I started the company. Never ran a company before in my life. And so we're going into the 4th year. And I just decided, let's keep going with this. If I can do a project like that and be in the passenger seat and say fire in the hole with the subjective test driver, and it was just an amazing project. And since then, I've really tried to focus my career as someone who brings innovation to industry. So the goal for me is that there's a lot of people who pick up a stemming shovel and who get their boots dirty, and they know how to lay out a shot. And then there's a lot of people who can create unbelievable technology. There's computer whizzes out there, true innovators and creators. Oftentimes there's a massive communication gap between the people who are in the field and the people who are creating. And I'm trying to bridge that gap. So with the engineering background, but also, just like to be outside and not be behind a computer all the time, I'm trying to help facilitate those two people, because there's not everyone is an early adopter, and not every tool works in every application. So we want to make sure that there's mutual benefit there, and so that's what I'm doing, and it's working, and people are happy, and I'm happy because I get to travel the world,
Yeah.
and I get to do experiments every day and play with cool toys.
And what you do at Pneu Wave? What are the essential products or the essential service that you provide at Pneu Wave?
Well, we help bring the OPIT dev to North America. And
Very successfully.
yeah, and it's been awesome watching people be happy about their shoulder not being super sore. Um, we've recently, for the last 3 years, been developing a product called Enrich Bits and Tools, and it's a phenomenal technology to combat planned obsolescence, and we use advanced cryogenics, and it realigns the molecular structure or the grain structure of a drill bit,
All right.
and it takes out the imperfections. It's the last step of a manufacturing process that takes a little too long, so that's why you don't see it at a smelter. And it really works in abrasive applications, so drill bits, loader teeth, and depending on the type of metal, we can make it last 2 to 3 times longer. I have a retract bit that lasted 3.4 times the life
All right.
in dolomite.
And you were the first one starting to implement this kind of technology into.
It's not, yeah, I mean, we're able to bring it to an industrial scale. 18,000 pounds can fit in our machine, and there's a certain process in which it needs to be done to make it economical and to see the benefits. And there's certain metals it works with and certain metals it doesn't. And so there's a very unique application for this type of technology that was once reserved for NASA and watch companies, high-end watch companies and jet turbines.
All right.
But now we can bring it down to a loader tooth in a small quarry.
Where did you manage to implement this technology or test the technology?
Yeah, we've had copper slag. We've done limestone in a quarry in Missouri. We've done civil blasting projects in Lake of the Ozarks area in dolomite, really abrasive rock, not necessarily hard rock, but abrasive rock. And so we just big successes. And usually someone's calling it snake oil or wizardry, and I think it's funny. It's cool. I mean, this industry fights tooth and nail for 2 to 3% improvements, and those improvements have downstream effects in the blasting program, millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars. And when you say someone you can get 2 to 3 times the life, it's almost unbelievable. And I think that's a fun thing because that's true innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm excited about World Blasting Innovators, is because I feel like the people who are going to be attending are purposefully looking for innovation. You have price point buyers, downstream buyers. I'm learning all of this as being an entrepreneur. And
And I have a question related with that. Is we are always searching to the next innovation, and where do you go and search for it? What do you read? Do you talk with people? Do you attend the convention? How do you foster that innovation spirit in you? What you do to try to keep always searching to do things differently, improve what you do?
a good question. I think I really like to attend conferences. I really like you can tell that if I run a podcast, I like to hear stories. I mean, people are always telling me I'm telling too many stories. So I like to meet people and hear what are their problems and see if I can be a part of that solution. And yeah, so I think going to conferences is a big thing for me, and being out in the field and visiting a site. You can access my website, enrichbits.com, where we got some videos of our case studies in underground applications in roof bolting. We have it in concrete block manufacturing, twice the life in tooling. So it's not just bits, it's tools, it's many applications as long as it fits certain parameters.
All right.
But so I kind of like to be in person and really work with people. I should probably have a better online presence and do a few more things, but
like you are talking about online presence, tell us a little bit about that the Blast Report podcast that you've created. How that came from? Is like is a need of connecting people that was the spark to generate this podcast, was the need to tell what the people is doing that motivates you to build this podcast?
Well, we came up with the idea, I think 3 years ago, and we just said this would be a cool idea. No one jumped on it, no one pulled the trigger, and then we mentioned it another time, and Paul Sturck, wonderful storyteller, and
Yeah.
and loves to teach people and tell the dirty truth,
Yeah.
And finally, I floated the idea around him, and we and he said, "Well, I'll be retiring next year. Maybe I'll have some more time." So finally, last year, Pedro started Blast Think with Gustavo, and he could market it. He could do these things, and I said, "Well, I'll make it happen. Like, let's do it." So I said to Paul, I said, "We're doing it. You want to be, and he's, been a big leader in the idea, and a foundational guest. And since then, we've had over 20 interviews published already, and we just had 14 interviews this week here in Savannah. The guests love it. I love it. I'm hearing stories that they haven't shared in years, and sometimes they don't share them at all. Stories of fly rock, and other situations where maybe someone's a little embarrassed to share this, but they know that if you've been in the industry long enough and rocks have flown, that's a situation. And so there's very good stories, funny stories. There are very sad stories where we talk about fatalities. And yeah, so we're doing this, and there's too many people in this industry who are leaving and we don't have their stories.
Yeah.
And you can only talk to people on the phone so much because everyone has their own lives. So to carve out an hour and actually record it like an online museum of some influential people, it's really a cool project. And yeah, I'm glad that people are liking it.
Blast Think, we work also. I'm very close to Pedro and Gustavo from Blast Think. They are our media supporters for the event, and that is very important to record these stories and the connection between young engineers and senior engineers. These mixtures of ideas, we believe at World Blasting Innovators, that is very important to educate the young ones, and also bring the senior ones back to the business, and build new products and new ideas.
And some of the people who are on the podcast, they're senior members, but most of them have all been very successful and been in the industry for a long time, and they have been because they've adopted new technologies. They've been the innovators. So they've embraced the technology that came along, and it's gotten them to where they're at. Instead of saying, "Oh, well, this is how we do it. We've been blasting this rock for 20 years. We don't need to change." No, that's not the case. All these people on the podcast, they've embraced the new technology over the years. The changes in the detonators, the changes in the emulsions, understanding downstream effects.
I know that you are deeply involved also with the emerging professionals here at the ISE, and you try to bring the new generations more involved with these topics, the actual topics. Now thinking about that, and also thinking about World Blasting Innovators, do you see value in these kind of initiatives to try to mix different kind of generations? I mean, what is your vision, or what is your expectations to an event like this? What could be the impact in future?
Well, I have dyslexia, so I was not the best student. I probably would not have graduated had it not been for certain mentors that I've met over the years, and certain motivations that they've given me, and scholarships from the societies. So I remember specifically a time where I went to a learning opportunity, such as a conference, and added learning, right, outside of formal education. And there was just this old long-haired driller I mean, his hair was down. His hair was on the back of the bar stool, you know.
Alright.
And someone was singing karaoke, and they changed a Hank Williams Jr. song, and they switched it around to, instead of I'm a fireman, I'm a powderman. And I don't remember who that guy was, but I was laughing at this song. It was great. And then the long haired guy is like, just grabs me, you know, by the shoulder, and it's like, "You are the future of this industry, and I'm glad that you're here." And I was like, damn, that's cool, you know. So I want to be able to do that for other people.
Evan, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for being part of this event. And we're gonna change the future, I'm sure. We're gonna be part of that.
All right,
Thank
man.
you very much,
Thank
man.
you.